Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's Taylor Kai here. Today we are going to be cooking honey mild party chicken wings, and we're going to do it like we did it last time, a little venting session. So I decided that my cooking videos, I think I'm just going to do like venting and just like I don't know if this will be like a weekly thing, but whatever it is, it'll just be like a catch up. So last video was the lamb chop video. I always hated feeling vulnerable and I always looked at me being vulnerable as feeling weak. I have these moments where I do this shadow work and I just sit there. Sometimes I find myself turning on something on television or TV, and I go, for whatever reason, there could be something that somebody says in that show or movie that I'm watching. And then I start to think about my life or whatever the case may be, or something just, my mind just shifts. And then all of a sudden I'm staring at the TV, but I'm not even paying attention. I'm actually thinking about what I got going on. And one of those things that hit me was, me just looking back on the relationship that I have with my mom. I don't remember if I went over everything how my childhood was growing up with her, or how she raised me and things like that. I talked briefly about it in the, when I was making the lamb chops video. But, one thing I did say, I believe, was that, having a sick mother growing up, for as long as I can remember, especially like during the elementary school days, she was always ill. And gradually, now that I look back, I see it differently, if that makes sense. So the things that, how can I put this? When I talked about me feeling vulnerable, or in my last video, me talking about how, I was told like, oh, it'll be okay. Just try to rush things and just rush your feelings and just get over stuff like that. Try to get over things quickly, and how that affected me as an adult, what that does to you as an adult. I sat there as I was watching TV, but not really watching TV. What my mother instilled in me. Now, this is not a bash your mom video or anything like that. This is just me sitting here thinking like, okay, I had an ill mom, and gradually, as I was getting older and as she was getting older, things became worse. My mom, I'm going to just break it down here now. My mom has lupus. That's the first thing she was diagnosed with. It took forever. So mind you, she was always in and out of the hospital, but she didn't get diagnosed with lupus until I was like, I want to say a sophomore in high school. So it was lupus, then came Parkinson's, then came scleroderma, then came rheumatoid arthritis. And then it was just one thing after another, after another, after another. It just became a lot. But this became my norm. Mind you, yes, I have siblings, but I grew up as the only child. We discussed my brother's situation. I think maybe the next cooking video, I'll go a little bit deeper into that. So moving forward, I noticed that, or not moving forward, but as I got older, I noticed that sometimes talking to my mom, I would get upset, or as soon as I started talking to her, my mood would just change drastically. And a couple days ago, when I was sitting there thinking about it, and till this day, I still have this issue. I couldn't pinpoint what was triggering these feelings. And I thought about it, like I had to think and think and think. And I said, okay, my mom was never married. She never brought a man around me or anything like that. She didn't date around me. She didn't do any of that. It was always just me and her. So when she started to fall ill, I was the caretaker. Mind you, I was like in the 5th grade. So this started to, I want to say around that time, that's when it started to emotionally take a toll on me. Granted, I didn't know because I was always told if I did show emotion of some sort or, you know, whatever the case may be, it's, oh, Taylor, you'll be all right. You'll get over it. It'll be fine. It was never a situation of, oh, Taylor, well, how are you really feeling? Or, you know, what I think the conversations that really need to have, or what needed to have happened for me to maybe not feel the way that I'm feeling now. And it sucks because I don't want to feel that way. And it's like, I talk to her every day. She talks to the kids every day. I make sure that I keep that communication with her. But at the same time, it's almost like I get this frustrated feeling whenever I talk to her. And I don't want to feel that way. But one day, like I said, I just sat there and I was really just trying to figure out why. And it was just, I guess it's just all these bottled up, repressed feelings of, dang, was my childhood snatched? Like, I couldn't go to certain places, like go hang out with my friends sometimes because I had to take care of my mom. Mind you, and there was something that triggered me not too long ago when I visited her. And she said something in the effect of like just joking around. And she was like, yeah, remember when I needed your help to lift my leg up and put it on the pillow? Cause she injured her knee at the time during this issue. And I sat there and I got upset. I almost took it personal. And I was like, Mom, I was like 10. You wanted me to be your caretaker. And then that's when things just started to click. Crazy part about it is it really clicked when I saw the look of my family members' faces when I said that. And my aunt specifically, she looked at me with this sincere look and a slight nod. And I could tell like she felt what I was saying, but you know, she didn't say anything, and that wasn't really anything. I guess it's always protect her feelings. And I'm still like that to this day. Even if I'm like going through something, I don't want to go to her because she's instilled in me even before then. As a kid, don't stress me out. Stress makes my illness worse. Stress, you know, I don't want to end up in the hospital. You know, she will always say stuff like that to me. So if I'm going through something, I couldn't talk to her. Or I probably could, but I felt bad because I felt like I was putting too much stress on her. And when I think about it, now that I'm talking about it out loud, it's like, dang, I'm still like that to this day with other people. I don't like to talk about the hardships or anything that's difficult that I have going on because I don't want to be the one to stress out somebody else or add extra stress. Because now I'm thinking, shoot, everybody got stressed. Like, what they need to hear my stuff for, whatever the case may be. And look where I'm at now. I'm talking about it on a YouTube video because I don't really talk to anybody else about stuff like this too much. And you know, at this grown age, I want to talk to her about that kind of stuff, but I still have that fear of her either shutting me out, just saying, oh, Taylor, you were a kid, it doesn't matter. Or, oh, Taylor, this is too much stress. I don't want to talk about it right now. I already have it implanted in my head. She's already stuck in her ways. She believes what she did was okay or what was right, or she did what the best that she could. I mean, let's talk about it. She grew up with a mother who grew up in foster care. Mind you, my mom was also a runaway. So it was like, I guess I really should. I mean, as a kid, of course, I expected all the love that I could have gotten. I'm not saying that she didn't love me, because I know she did. She just loved me the only way that she knew how. So I guess in this situation, what would you guys do? Put it in the comments, because it's definitely going to need to be an update to this. You know, I just, I don't know what the next steps should be, or is it just me just trying to figure it out on my own? Do I try to have that conversation with her? And if so, what questions could I ask her? I wouldn't even know where to start with that. Cause I honestly feel, well, I mean, but then it's like, I could say how I feel what she was doing, but then in the back of my head, I'm like, well, am I coming up with excuses for her? And I don't want to do that either. So I don't know, man. Help me out. I'm stuck. I don't want life to pass by and I get to the point where I'm older and my mom's no longer here and I never asked the questions that I needed to know. But I guess one of my problems is not knowing the question to ask. Maybe because it's just so much. I'm not sure. There was a time when I went to therapy about this, not specifically about this. It was just, just mother-daughter issues that I was having. I needed more clarity because I just felt like I was holding so much in the fact that my mom just never felt like I had a reason to complain about anything. All those bottled up emotions, I took it to therapy, and my therapist told me that I guess it was the first time I heard somebody tell me it was okay to feel what I was feeling. And it wasn't necessarily resentment. It was more so anger, and like still to this day, anger and frustration. And so one day my mom asked me how the therapy session went, and I told her what the therapist said, and letting her know, oh, you know she said that my feelings were valid, and it was okay for me to feel how I was feeling, and maybe I needed some space, which is why I ended up skipping states just to get a breather. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about that in another cooking video. But she took that to heart. My mom took that to heart. She took that so personal. And it was to the point where she does things and says things in a way to where I feel like a child all over again. I could be 50 years old and she talked to me that way and I feel like a kid. Like there was something that I should not have said, even though what I said at that specific time was not wrong. I've never cursed at my mom. I don't curse in front of my mom. I'm very careful with what I say. So, man, I don't know. I guess I just need some help, man. One thing for sure, I am breaking those generational curses. I do not want those type of issues with my children. Make sure we have those open communication, especially with my daughter. That mother-daughter relationship, sometimes that could be strained, and I don't want that for her. I want her to be able to come to me. And to this day, she calls me her best friend. And I love that for us. So I just need, I don't know. I don't know what I need. So anyway, that is pretty much it. And this is the ending, somewhat of the ending to this cooking video. If you guys want any of these, the ingredients, let me know. I'll put it down in the comments for you guys. Also, I know in the beginning of the video, I used like a cilantro. It was like a cilantro spice seasoning. You can use lemon pepper or whatever type of seasoning you choose. I just chose that one just to add extra flavor. So it's totally up to you. So yes, thank you guys for letting me vent, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye.